here for episode 15 of the Talking Doves podcast with Mr. Arthur and one more person. We have Miss Riley. We have Miss Bethany. Hello, Miss Bethany.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How did
Except for the
Oh, go ahead.
no.
Tell them how, no, tell them how it is. Where'd we put you?
You put me in a closet.
I wouldn't say a closet. That's an office, Miss Riley.
It's a closet. There's no windows.
That's completely fair. Mr. Arthur, we got to look into getting you windows for your office.
Nah, I like caves.
Okay, well, cave dweller spoke. Oh, Mr. Arthur, that reminds me, we have Miss Riley on tonight because, speaking of caves, we went out to nature. We went on a little excursion, estimates that we were in a car for how long? About 30 hours? 36 hours?
For about 36 hours.
Yeah, about 36 hours. And so we have Bethany here to tell all of our lovely students what it was like to be stuck with us in a car for 30 hours. So, Bethany, thoughts?
Well, it was a lot of me sitting in the back seat listening to you two laugh
Fair.
and me sleeping, so I didn't have to listen.
Okay, that's fair. Also, those AirPods coming in clutch.
Yep.
Those broke off Q-tips really keeping everything.
Best purchase
safe.
we've probably made in a while.
I would agree. We make some stupid ones, but that was not one of them. So yeah, for sure. Mr. Arthur, can you show us some pictures from this trip? Besides, I don't really understand how I'm looking at you twice. That's kind of witchcraft happening.
Over here.
Yeah. That's you.
Let's see. Well, do we see pictures?
I see a picture.
Yes.
This was one of our, I think it was first day in the park. We kind of waited around to see if we could get a picture of the sunset. And, Mr. Riley, I haven't spent a lot of time in that part of Texas, so seeing mountains that weren't green, I spent a lot of time in Arkansas and in that area where you look at the Ozark Mountains where they're covered in trees, but to see these mountain ranges that were not green, it's kind of neat for me.
Right.
There you go with some driving scenery there. I'm not sure how Miss Bethany made it in the back of the back seat so long, being or she gets car sick, but these roads were kind of curvy.
A little bit. Yeah.
But it was beautiful. I really thought it was beautiful. And this is the border of Texas and Mexico, where I think I have a picture of the two of you standing, maybe not in the Rio Grande, but at least on the bank of it.
Close to it.
Yeah,
Bethany didn't want to put her feet in the water.
fair.
Well, I wanted to go on the hike, but we had to cross the river.
The creek. We had to cross the creek.
Well,
Of which I was not going to cross the creek. I was not.
Waist deep, huh?
I've been on a sneaker kick, and I was wearing some beautiful ones, and they didn't tell us that we were going to have to wade through waist-deep water to get over there. And khakis and kicks were not the way to cross the baby creek.
also, you were hiking in the desert. Like, you shouldn't have been wearing your cute new sneakers.
Ooh,
You got
Mr. Arthur, she called them cute. She thought my shoes looked good. Anyway.
You think they're cute.
Oh, they are. Anyway.
But this canyon, the picture here, the Rio Grande runs right through the middle of this canyon. So half of that is Mexico and the other half is not. It was kind of neat. Wish we could have gotten in there in a canoe or a kayak, but I'm a little afraid of water, so we didn't need to do that.
Well, I always thought the Rio Grande was bigger because, Grande, I thought it was larger. Whatever. Bethany, what did you like more, driving us around the park or having to listen to us as I drove around?
Probably driving around the park, because I got to control how fast we were going around those mountains.
Was I driving poorly around the mountains?
No, it was just scary sometimes.
Okay. I mean, I think it was because it was the mountain roads and not my driving. I think my driving was pretty great.
Okay.
Besides that time where Texas decided to put a dead end in the middle of a 75-mile-an-hour zone.
And I almost went through the windshield, yeah.
Okay, all right. You barely got to halfway in our seats, okay?
He was like 2 feet from the windshield.
But it was a small car, okay? It was not, the backseat was not that far from the windshield, okay? Let the record show. It was a Malibu, okay? Like, it's just not, the depth is not that much. Again, not my fault. It was not my fault. Mr. Arthur will agree it's not my fault, and Bethany will agree it was, or she will disagree and say it was my fault. Is that how this would go?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, thanks, Peyton. All right, yeah. Okay. All right. So, Bethany, thank you so much. Do you have anything else that you would like to say?
No.
No. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Arthur, I think that is a perfect build-in for our first real segment.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Let's go into it.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. So here we are for, what is our second segment called? This is, Where Is This? The week that was. Mr. Arthur, I think this was a whirlwind week. I think I keep on saying that, wow, I can't believe it's Thursday already so many times, and this week was no exception. So, Mr. Arthur, what happened this week?
Well, you know, in 2 ways, I feel like, number one, I feel like Monday was yesterday. And then I think about all the things that we did this week, and I think Monday was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Time in the classroom with the students flew by. My highlight of this week was being able to start animal science with our Ag 1. And I think today was probably the best day we've had with Ag 1.
Right.
Got a lot of good, excellent feedback from those students on beef cattle, and I'm really excited for what next week holds for our Ag 1 classes. But we're getting ready to start carpentry in Ag 2, fixing to get in the shop on Monday, and I am so excited for those students that you missed out on that last year to finally get in the shop and start building projects.
Yeah, I mean, that's just such a special time, and the thought that that generation of Ag 1 just missed it last year, and to try to catch them up, you know, it's one of those things, whether we're talking about athletics, FFA, in the classroom, so many experiences were missed in the spring last year, and just to be able to get on anything back is, you know, a win for sure. So, Mr. Arthur, for weeks and weeks, I had that sweet student that said, Mr. Riley, why don't you take a notebook around and write things in it? And I was like, I'm going to do that week. And I kept losing my notebook. Mr. Arthur, guess what?
You did it this week.
I did it. I have this beautiful field notes that has a Shumard leaf on it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's embossed. It's gorgeous. And it's big red. Anyway, so here, I didn't do it every day, but I wrote down everything I did Tuesday. I wrote down everything I did Tuesday. Oh, and Monday. Look at that. Mr. Arthur, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of my Monday. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right. I woke up at 5:15.
Sorry.
I woke up at 5:15. I walked 2 dogs. I took a shower. Out the door at 6. I was at Winfield Senior High School. I'm just kidding. I was at the house at 6. But here's the thing. I was afraid we didn't have internet. And so I wanted to make sure all my lessons were good to go at the house, but, you know, with stable Suddenlink internet, as stable as it is. And so I, you know, made sure my lessons were good at home. I came up here about 6:45, you know, just doing some cleaning, tidying up, getting ready for students that we hadn't had in 3 weeks. It was such a great time in the ag department, a joyous occasion. coming off of Thanksgiving break, coming off of 14th coronation, so many things that were happening. And well, we had a couple of hiccups on Monday. We had a couple of hiccups with attendance. That was a little hiccup. Nothing set us back. Kids were here, and we have that new attendance program, which I think is pretty cool, especially if we get, heaven forbid, we have to go back home or do virtual completely 100% again. We do have a system now that works pretty well in checking attendance, and us and Miss Carter was able to work on that video. I say that Miss Carter done all the work on that video, and we just put it out and on the interwebs. And if you have any questions about that video should answer those questions. Let me see. I said in Ag 3-4 that morning that nobody appreciates my humor. It was 3 weeks they were without me, and then Alyssa Taylor was like, I appreciate your humor. So in my notebook, I scratched out nobody and I wrote Alyssa appreciates my humor. Then we were talking about 4-stroke engines. We're talking about small engines in Ag 3-4. We took a pre-test, and they were struggling with the 4 strokes of an engine, Mr. Arthur. They remembered power. I think they remembered power, but intake, compression, and exhaust were just, in the stratosphere. And so I said, or no, I didn't. One of my students said, Mr. Riley, are there different kinds of strokes? And I said, there's different strokes for different folks. And I just like that. And they didn't appreciate that. Anyway, so we got our engines room all ready. We got tools set up. I then had to call the heater man, Mr. Arthur, because my heater was out. And that was a sad day, but my heater man got everything running, and my house makes me sweat now. It is so hot. But thankful for the heat, for sure. We reviewed all the merchandise sales with our classes that day. Yeah. And that was what I wrote down for Monday, Mr. Arthur. And that was really through what, 9:30, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that wasn't near the full day. I think my favorite memory of the week came from Monday, and that was getting students back around 7:15ish on Monday morning. I mean, I'm having any desks in my room. We had our turkey sales, well, not really sales, our turkey distribution for our fundraiser over our quarantine. And we had to take all the desks out to put all our turkeys in here, and I hadn't put them back yet. And so when they came in, there was no desk in here, and it kind of, I think, threw a couple of them for a loop. But I'll never forget those faces, I don't think.
Yeah, that was a good time, because there's I'm pretty sure there were desks in here.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah. So what else happened this week, Mr. Arthur? Anything crazy?
Just wrapping up our Christmas sale, and for meats, and place that order this afternoon. I don't think anything else too out of the ordinary happened that I can remember.
Well, I'm going through. I have a couple of other things, but a lot of that will be said when we get to FFA. And when we get to quotes, my quotes is going to be very reminiscent of something I was doing in a couple of my classes this week. And so I kind of want to say, talking about that for later. But I will. Do you have anything else for this week, Mr. Arthur?
I think just with life being as crazy as it is with school, and personally, I guess my memory's kind of clouded. I don't remember anything standing out to me, so I guess not.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. I'm getting you a big red.
And I will lose it.
Oh, absolutely. I lose it all the time. But anyway, I have one quote from the week that I want to end on, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm
not going to say why yet, because I have a little bit of news to reveal later. But McDonald's has been on the brain of a certain sector of the Winfield FFA. And so we were talking about McDonald's for some reason that you'll find out in about 20 minutes. But one of our freshmen, Mr. Arthur, said that a double quarter pounder is a real man's McDouble. And that just makes me smile.
That's
So I think if anything could sum up a crazy week, a McDonald's quote, because fast food, life is fast, you gotta eat fast.
Oh yeah.
So as Mr. Arthur is on the horizon watching the sun over the southwestern Texas riverbanks, I think we should go on to our next segment of the show. Here we are for When Is This? When Is This is the part of the show where we talk about FFA news that is affecting the local chapter, the parish, the district, the area, the state, and sometimes even the national scene of FFA. So this week, really focusing on our local chapter, Mr. Arthur. I don't think we have anything above the chapter this week on the show. So, Mr. Arthur, who's going to start this, me or you?
Well, I wanted to start off with a question.
Yeah.
For our listeners. And Mr. Riley, I think it'll be a fun one for you to take a crack at this because I didn't know this.
Okay.
So
I like it.
I was looking up some ag facts specifically for Louisiana.
Okay.
And I just couldn't come up with anything, this week for ag that I liked. But when I thought about Louisiana, I was curious about how many farms are in Louisiana. And so I'm assuming this number includes all types of farms, not just crop farms.
All right.
You want to take a guess at how many thousand farms are in the state of Louisiana? I was kind of shocked by this number. It's not crazy, but.
Okay. So there are 4 million people in the state, correct?
That's right.
There are 600 high schools?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. So if there's
with private schools, yeah.
With private, okay. So if we take 600 high schools, okay. And
Oh,
then,
no. I think it's 300.
is it just 300?
I think it's 300, yeah.
You're trying to throw me off, Mr. Arthur.
Sorry. I know we looked up those Texas numbers the other day, and I think those were kind of stuck.
Oh, those Texas numbers were ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's 300.
They have like 8 trillion high schools. Anyway, all right. So if we have 300 high schools, we have 4 million people. I'm gonna guess, Mr. Arthur,
Okay.
that we have 12,000 farms.
See, what I was thinking was around 10. According to the website that I found this on that is linked to Ag in the Classroom, so I'm going to say it's pretty reputable.
Yeah.
It's 30,000 farms.
Ooh.
And I think that's very impressive.
Yeah.
And my next question is going to go off of this, when we get to it in another segment, but just a couple more facts for you. The answer is 30,000. So for those of you listening, strictly for that. But the average farm size is 269 acres, totaling 8.1 million acres of farmland in the state. I think that's impressive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there's question number one for those of you that are skimming looking for it. But I just think that's really impressive. And later we'll talk about the impact that just our small little state has on the national scale of agriculture.
People that, don't have an ag background, people like, me personally, I grew up in a subdivision. I grew up in the middle of town, small town, but, no connection to agriculture until I joined FFA. And I had no idea. I mean, if you would have asked me how many farms were in the state when I was, a dumb little 8th grader, I would have been like, I don't know, 800. Like, I would have had no idea. And to think now that as an ag teacher, I was a third of the way there, that's nuts.
Well, after I saw that number, I thought about places like Tensall and Madison parishes where there's not a lot of people, but how many farms? Almost everybody that lives there has a farm. I think that's pretty incredible.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that fact. Uh, so, Mr. Arthur, this morning we started, well, I guess we should move back 2 days ago. One of our officers, uh, Graceland was the one that sent us the email about it. I know there was a small group of them that was clamoring for an officer breakfast.
Right.
Doing the advisor way of, advising from time to time as the need arises, not trying to get in the way of what the officers are doing. As the executive branch of our chapter, they asked if they could have officer breakfast, and of course, me and you were like, yeah, I mean, we're going to be here, and we told them the last time, they're responsible for it, and so they set up a heck of a breakfast this morning, and our main stipulation is you take care of it, you be responsible for it, and let's accomplish something when you do it.
Right.
And we had a pretty good amount of business come out of it, and I was very happy about that. We'll check with Annie and make sure we get a full typed up set of minutes from the meeting. But basically, we talked about that, or they talked about, and we just went in and out. We have a couple of really cool events coming up in our POA. We're having to alter them because we are hoping, crazy pipe dreams in August when we were setting all this up, that maybe we had lifted restrictions by November, December. But we're trying to plan some things where we're bringing events to the students in a virtual format. And I know some of us are tired of having to see things in video form. We want to be able to go. We want to be able to go and see the fossil thing behind Mr. Arthur at that fossil exhibit. We want to go to it. We don't want to see a picture of it or a video of it. But in times such as these, our officer team is making sure they can still have experiences for the members. And so we have a virtual tour that they are lining up for our members, and I think it's setting up really cool experiences for everybody involved.
Yeah, I agree.
That was one of the things. I know not everybody cares that they plan their Christmas party and excursions like that, but just to know that the officer team cares about the members. They're trying to have things for them because they want to see us grow just like we want to see us grow, and I think that's a real special thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Announcement for all of our members who sold Christmas items. I think we had about 35, 40 of you that sold for Christmas. We thank you for that. Excellent job. That pickup date has been moved from December the 16th, which was the Wednesday, to December 15th. So we will have items here in-house on Tuesday, December 15th, ready for pickup around noon. And so if something changes with that, of course, we'll let you know. That'll be in the email that you get when we send it out for the Friday assignment. But just be sure that if you sold, to make note that date has changed from Wednesday to Tuesday.
Please, because me and Mr. Arthur are, one, not liars, and two, trying to be as diligent as we can be. We've already told some of you that it was going to be Wednesday because it's always Wednesday. And, due to everything else, shifting supply and having to go through different supply chains to get what we need, it's just moved. So please take note of that.
And it's so important that you pick up on that date because we don't have storage for all that food. And so we had to hold a couple of things last time, and thankfully we had just enough storage for it. Otherwise we would have been in a real bind. So please, if you ordered, make arrangements to either take that home with you on Tuesday after school or to have someone come pick it up during the day on Tuesday.
So the next item of business we had was that a couple of our former national P-Law team was talking to me today, Mr. Arthur, and they were as they do on the officer team. They're trying to help plan and make sure we are having these things. And they said, can we start back P-Law practice next week.
Mhm.
I said, absolutely. You know, me and you have been talking about that. We just hadn't had time to sit down and say, yes, this is the day. And so we are looking at Tuesday until 4:45 after school, having our third parliamentary law practice.
Yes, I think third or fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and we, you know, had started talking about what we're going to have there. It's going to be a great practice. And so anybody that was going out for that team, anybody that's a part of that team, practice is Tuesday after school until 4:45.
Yeah.
I think the only ones that are affected and that, you know, have a great excuse not to be there is softball and baseball. But we'll make concessions where we need to.
Absolutely.
You know, one of our freshman members said that they would love a 7 p.m. practice when they had softball and baseball. So I'm not saying that for Tuesday. I'm just saying that is a potential down. But then, Mr. Arthur, I've been working with our president. I've been talking to him, and we want to boost. You know, we are products of the YouTube generation, and I'm really in a missionary journey, Mr. Arthur, to make sure that YouTube is way better than TikTok, and you know, to stay relevant with the YouTube. We are boosting our presence and having more content out, because I have always been a fan of FFA members and officers making videos for meetings, and we haven't had the chance to have regular meetings. So we've come up with a solution where we're going to try when we're in school and we have the ability, we're not, you know, bogged in with CDE practices, to have one just fun video a week. And they found time, you know, after school and, you know, whenever they could to shoot these videos. I and Peyton Little shot a video that week before we got out for Thanksgiving. It was a great time. It was a fun conversation and I knew with a couple of talking points, I could get Peyton Little to talk for an hour. And it was a great time. We had a lot of positive feedback about that. And so this week, Peyton is talking to another one of his officers, just a good time video. We are going to have it go live at 9 a.m. in the morning or 10 a.m. I don't remember what I had it set as. So probably by the time you're waking up, you know, about noon on Friday, you know, it'll be up on YouTube. And I just think it's a fun experience.
And also, I'll be posting those on Google Classroom for those of you that are interested. So it'll be an easy link for you as well.
So that's all I had about that, Mr. Arthur.
Well, Mr. Riley, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Can you make it permissible where I can do that? And I think this is probably under our YouTube content, probably some of the most exciting news of the week. Mr. Riley and I have had requests to, I don't know, Mr. Riley, what do we call this? To document our adventures through social media?
We're going for more clout, Mr. Arthur.
Yeah. And so this kind of goes with the podcast. So it's Talking Rarthur. Rarthur being the name that I think Joy So coined for us. But this is going to be a great way for us to showcase things that our students are doing, adventures that we have that relate to agriculture education. You know, we were talking about this last night. I'm not sure that any other ag teachers in the state have anything quite like this. I know that Miss Regina Smart at Westlake has a plush ram, which is their mascot, and it has an Instagram page where she takes it to contests and shares that. But I'm not sure that any ag teachers have something quite like this. So we're really excited, as you can see there from the bio, that to follow us as we tackle the world of agriculture education. So this is just for fun, just to get our stuff out there and recognize our students in the best way possible.
So definitely, you know, if we talk about it in the podcast, there's a chance that will be on the Instagram page. So, we always talk about what happened that week. And so if we're working on picnic tables, you might see a couple of our students building picnic tables in these pictures. If Mr. Arthur and his class are making those wraps and stuff, you might see the background on how they were, learning the content and making those presentations.
So be sure that you go on Instagram and follow at Talking Rarthur. There it is on the screen. You can jot that down and follow that on your phone, because I think you're going to be pretty pleased with the content that you see there.
That picture that you showed on my Instagram, I said it looked like we were dropping a mixtape on, on SoundCloud. So I think it's going to be a great time, Mr. Arthur. Anything that we do is a great time.
Always.
If I don't enjoy it, I don't do it. And I've been working a lot, so I must be enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Mr. Riley, I just took a sip of my water here.
Yep.
Texas in a bottle. Look at that.
Texas in a bottle. How much do you think Texas in a bottle would cost?
Well, if you sell it to Texans, they'll pay whatever.
That's very true, And what you have to do is you put some in burnt orange, some in maroon, some in green, and you do the thing. And
don't forget, we got to have the purple for our Stephen F. and Tarleton friends.
That's right. But isn't that also the color of TCU?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. I forget about them. Baylor Superior. Anyway, moving on.
Baylor forever. All right, Mr. Arthur. That's all I had for FFA news. Is that all you have?
That's all I have.
All right, let's go on to the next segment.
Make the world a better place. You can. How y'all doing?
You good?
I'm wonderful. Sitting here enjoying the mountain view.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a beautiful mountain view, Mr. Arthur. Can you tell us what mountain that is?
Goat Mountain.
Goat Mountain, yep. I remember Goat Mountain. I remember Mule Ear.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful Mule Ear. And that's about the names I remember.
Mr. Riley, I think this segment is Why Is This?
It is.
So why is that llama sitting on your counter?
Mr. Arthur, I'm glad you pointed that out. We had my office was bit by the decorating bug as we were working diligently around the ag department today. There was a couple of young ladies that went around decorating my room, and it looks great. I'm not going to do bonus content, Mr. Arthur. On our Instagram, we might have an office tour. I think that'd be very IG. But no, we were getting ready to go see Miss Shelton and do some things around town, run some errands after school. And who all did we have? Are we going to call them out by name?
Yeah, sure. We had Annie Hurd, Parker Carlino, Grayson Chevalier, and then Little Parker.
Little Parker. Yeah, let's not, I don't want to embarrass him, so we'll just say Little Parker was with us.
Is there any way that we can see that llama up close?
Mr. Arthur, I'm in a rolly chair. We can do whatever we want.
Awesome.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. Is that tinsel?
That is tinsel.
Oh, tinsel.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
It's got a holly bow tie. You see that?
Snazzy. Yeah.
Snazzy.
Llama.
That's a lot better than that stupid Fortnite llama.
Are we sure that's a llama, not an alpaca? Do we need to get an expert opinion?
Here's the thing. My children said that it's a llama, so it's a llama. Okay.
We trust them.
I trust them wholeheartedly. That's going to be my downfall. So, Mr. Arthur.
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to finish this segment with my llama?
No, I think that'll take away from our quotes.
All right. Sorry, buddy.
Mr. Riley, I'm not going to lie to you. I struggle with picking a quote this week.
It's hard to encapsulate what we experienced this week.
Well, I've been kind of in a zone, an ag zone. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that sounds like a lame store.
Yeah.
Come on down to Ag Zone. We got sprinklers half off.
Yeah, that may not be a very bad idea for, it's AutoZone. You have an ag.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. I wanted a quote that was ag related, while also inspirational. And I'll give you a little bit of information. Don't look that up on Google. If you type in ag quote inspirational, you get a bunch of weird stuff. I mean, nothing inappropriate, just weird. But I finally found one.
Things that moms post on Facebook.
Again?
Things that moms post on Facebook.
Yeah, it was stuff like that, But I found one that encompasses Louisiana as a whole. I've been on that theme of Louisiana ag.
Right.
So it's a Chinese proverb. It says, if you're planting for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. And if you're planning for a lifetime, educate people. And this week has been full of education for all of our classes. I think, your classes have been studying small engines, which is a very useful skill. My classes are getting ready to go out in the shop and do it safely. And then our Ag 1s together are learning about the animal science and the animal industry. I'll get those words out in a minute. But all stuff that they're going to need to know as they go throughout life. Those Ag 1 students may not ever own cattle, but it's so important to know the truths behind the food that they're eating in their food supply. And so I think it's so important to talk about educating people about agriculture, not just in general. So the little quote underneath it, or the thoughts underneath it, were knowledge is food for thought, while food is perishable. Teachers feed the whole world many times over. So good stuff.
That's special. I like that. Mr. Arthur.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I'm making friends or enemies in our Act 1 class. But here's the thing. I really embody what I'm about to read, and I want to stress why I do several things. And one is I like being a little eccentric.
Yeah.
I'm a little odd, a little different, and I think with time, with patience, I think kids see the value of that. But this week, when we've done transitions in Ag 1, I read them a poem, short poem. When you were taking attendance for your half of class, I would read them a poem. When we go from, finishing note taking, going into a math break, I'll read them a poem or whatever. And those poems are special to me because I had a 6th grade teacher. She taught me English. Is one of my most favorite teachers. We're friends on Facebook. She's a wonderful lady, and she read Shel Silverstein poems, and that was the only time I've ever had any interaction with Shel until I was an adult and I could buy my own books, and I was an educator myself, and I bought all 3 of the classic Shel Silverstein books, and so I'm reading those because they're good fun and they have a lot of weight behind some of them, And from where the sidewalk ends, I'm going to read one very short one, and it really embodies what I'm all about. Okay, this one is entitled "Early Bird." Oh, if you're a bird, be an early bird, and catch the worm for your breakfast plate. If you're a bird, be an early bird. But if you're a worm, sleep late. Mr. Arthur, I think you could interpret that a couple of different ways. I interpret that, be yourself, and be the best self you can be. And that's what I try to do, and that's why, a couple of times a year I'll read some things to the kids, because I think it gives them a well-rounded education. I read a couple to Act 3-4 this morning, and we did, very short literary analysis with it. What did it mean? And, they gave their best, Dr. Cole impression on what they thought it meant. And I gave them what, I took Shell's, words to be, because kids don't understand, for one, how important analysis is. If you can't communicate properly, you're not going to be able to analyze things and know what people are meaning. It makes you a way better communicator.
Yeah.
And two, I love these poems, and I'm going to incorporate that in my class because I love it, and that's who I am. Love whatever you're doing and embody that. Like, just, it's goofy, and I know some kids just hate it. Some kids hate being read to. I love being read to, and I know, some of them have kind of perked up when they saw me reading, and some definitely did not. And that's okay. I'm just going to do it from time to time. So that's my quote, Mr. Arthur.
I like it. I have a lot of good memories of some of my elementary school teachers. I can remember two specifically that pulled out that aluminum foil cover where the sidewalk ends, read to us. So, and the giving tree.
Oh, don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Don't make me cry.
Yeah, good stuff for sure. Well, Mr. Riley, I want to end this segment with my second and final question. And I'll let you answer it because I think you'll know the answer to this, but then I want to expound on it just a little bit. Louisiana is the sole source of this pepper, a popular condiment known around the world, is made from this. And do you know what pepper that is?
Mr. Arthur, is that what we use to make Tabasco?
It is, and they call it a Tabasco pepper. It has a specific name, but it's the Tabasco pepper.
Okay.
I talked earlier about how Louisiana has such a profound impact on agriculture across the world, and to be the sole source of a pepper that is found on restaurant tables all across the United States and even in other countries, to me that's a little mind-boggling. But give you a few more just interesting facts. More than 40% of U.S. grain imports move through the ports of Louisiana. Louisiana ranks number 1 in the nation in the production of crawfish, shrimp, alligator, and oysters, and ranks 3rd nationally in rice production. This state that is home to just over 4 million people really embodies what agriculture means. And so I think it's important that we incorporate Louisiana agriculture, as we did with our Ag 1 this year, into our curriculum to teach them the importance and significance of what is coming from the soil of our great state.
I think it's so special. If I could piggyback on that just 1 second. I just read a poem about being yourself. The deal about the rice is we grow it in just a handful of parishes.
Yeah.
And, just what, less than 6?
It's 6 or 7, something.
Yeah, 6 or 7 parishes. And with those 6 or 7 parishes, we rank 3rd in the nation. I think things like that is just amazing because we're so diverse agriculturally. I think that's one of our greatest strengths in the field of agriculture in Louisiana. And it's all about being yourself. Rice country don't try to grow, poultry. It's rice country. So, Mr. Arthur, is that all we have for this segment?
I think it is.
Well, if my math is right, we are going in to the last segment. So here we go. And here we are for the final segment of the night. As the sun fades behind Mr. Arthur, we are going to go into our final segment. Our final segment, of course, is What Is This? What Is This is the part that became a music trivia game show finale part of the show that Mr. Arthur, I love writing this every week. It's a peaceful writing experience. And again, I will disclaimer this. I say writing, it's piecing and parting from Wikipedia, doing a little bit of research, and there is some of my own words, but a large portion is from the band's Wikipedia page. So, Mr. Arthur, do you have anything to say before I get into the quiz?
Let's hit it.
Let's hit it. That's what I think you're gonna I don't know. This is not, a groundbreaking one. I'm not going to. Well, I'll just get into it, Mr. Arthur. So, one of my favorite bands, because Mr. Arthur kind of gets annoyed with me because I'm always upbeat, or I try to always be upbeat. Even when I get mad, I'm pretty funny and upbeat about it, or I try to be anyway. I try to be silly, but Mr. Arthur, this is in our playlist, in my school playlist, my current rotation that I have. Even though it's Christmas season, we're not listening to that mag department right now. But Fitz and the Tantrums. Have you ever heard of Fitz and the Tantrums?
I have not. I was hoping it was Wilson Phillips tonight. Man.
Well, just hold on.
One more day.
One more day. So, Mr. Arthur, Fitz and the Tantrums, they are an American indie pop and neo soul band. Are you familiar with neo soul?
I just learned what neo meant about 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
Neo soul band. They were from Los Angeles, California. They were founded by Michael Fitzpatrick in 2008. Michael went and purchased an old Conn electronic organ. Conn was an instrument company founded in 1876. Has been in business some fashion. They've been owned by different companies, but they've been in business ever since 1876. Are you familiar with Conn?
Yeah, we had a Conn at church.
That's exactly where my head went. I've definitely seen the beautiful font of Conn on the piano and all. But founded in 1876. I want to know, in what state was Conn founded? And I have a hint. The hint is, it is one of the states that comprise of the 50 United States.
Really?
Is that not a good enough hint, Mr. Arthur?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so I have a real hint, because I felt like you weren't going to like the first one. So here's the second hint. It borders the Great Lakes, and its largest city is in the dead center of the state, geographically speaking.
Wisconsin?
No, sir.
No. I was trying to look at actually I was pulling my political president election map, and I was trying to think where.
Don't bring that up, Mr. Arnold.
No, but I was thinking where the metropolitan area was, of these states, and I'm not real familiar with the.
Right. You would know this state. You would know. You've been to this state. You've been to this state semi-recently. Indiana. Conn is from Indiana, Elkhart, Indiana. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I don't know why it really wanted to point out that he bought a Conn. It almost felt like I was reading an advertisement, but sometimes that's the way these articles read. You never know what you're going to get on Wikipedia. But neither here nor there. After purchasing the Conn organ, he was inspired to write the song "Breaking the Chains of Love" the same night he bought the organ. He contacted his college friend, who was a saxophonist named James King, and James recommended a singer named Noel Scaggs and drummer John Wicks. No relation to the movie. Anyway, so in what state? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm so excited, Mr. Arthur. 1 week after their first rehearsal, Fitzpatrick booked their first gig, their first show. He booked it at Hotel Cafe. Hotel Cafe. In what state will you find this Hotel Cafe? Hint. This state contains or has access to more national parks than any other state. Also, it possesses what most considered to be the largest tree in the world that has a height of 275 feet and a circumference of 102 feet.
California.
California, absolutely, Mr. Arthur. I found a way to talk about national parks and trees in a trivia question, and when I saw that opportunity, I just took it.
Do you know if the tree is a giant sequoia or a redwood?
I don't want to lie to you, Mr. Arthur. I think it was a sequoia. I cannot remember for sure, but 102 feet.
That's nuts.
My goodness, I mean, that's 30 yards. Like that.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's nuts. Anyway, so, Mr. Arthur, I think we had a great show tonight.
I think we did too.
I'm really happy of the video format. I love playing with video, and so I'm looking forward to editing this in a few minutes. Do you have anything else that we need to add?
I don't think so, other than please be sure that you're keeping up with your assignments. I talked to my classes about that today. We'll still have part of this 9 weeks left over when we get back from Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very crucial that you get all of that work taken care of before we get out. Mr. Riley and I have been very lenient about giving extended time because we know internet circumstances and that kind of thing. So please just take care of that work. Also, if you have not already ordered a t-shirt from Mr. Riley, please do that. If you're watching this early, try to get that in ASAP. We've set out a link for that, I think, to all our classes, Mr. Riley.
Yes.
We're excited about the future of Winfield FFA as always. And that's about all I'm going to say.
As always, I have no idea what next week's going to hold, and I'm so excited to see what it is holding. I can't wait to see all of you on Monday, all of you that are 100% face-to-face. I can't wait for Monday. I cherish every minute that we're here in the Ag Department, Mr. Arthur. I'm really a big fan, and I can't wait for next week. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if you're doing this Sunday night, I hope you had a great weekend. So, Mr. Arthur, I think that's it.
That's it. Y'all have a good one.
Deuces.